Hello. Hello, this is the my artifact episode number 3909. Today's date is 25 of February 2026. It's been almost like a night at 9:50 p.m. I usually when I record the artifact, I try not to talk about personal stuff. Okay. Why I don't talk about personal stuff? Like basically I talk about basically this thing na ki I talk about personal stuff means related towards mine. Okay, yeah. I never really talk about kind of like a bitching about somebody that ki things and that. Maybe I did it is because of kind of like some reason and things like that. But I did little less. Like basically when I record artifact na, I make sure that I should suppose to ask question. Some of the question relate with like basically this is na ki usually I am kind of like telling a story regarding about myself, what exactly happened, what I've been through, things and that. Okay, yeah. I never really kind of like somebody realize or maybe remember or maybe sometime I did it that ki I kind of like a bitch about somebody or kind of like a things and that in the artifact because it doesn't really make sense. Because if I'm kind of like a bitching about somebody in artifact episode, that completely very wrong thing. Okay, yeah. And I don't really consider that ki bitching about somebody is a kind of like somebody doing right thing. It's completely wrong thing. Even if you are kind of like a doing in real world, like basically, yeah, so some people are kind of like somebody always do pitching about somebody and things and that. It's a I think that na, it's a completely wrong thing. But today I will gonna I don't know, is it bitch? I'm not really sure. I want to talk about a particular person, okay, yeah, which is relative, okay, yeah. A relative of mine, okay, yeah. I will not gonna mention his name, but okay, yeah. Okay, first of all, let's just talk about that. Okay, so my mother brother, okay, mother brother, like basically my mother have a like a brother, okay, yeah. Little brother, we called him mama, okay, yeah. In Indian context point of perspective, we called him mama, okay. So basically this thing, today my mama called me, okay, yeah, regarding about that he need some sort of amount of money, okay, yeah. Like first of all is that ki like a kind of like a somebody like first of all is that na ki mama is a kind of like a very big relation na, like basically it's not a kind of like your friend is actually asking for your money, it's your friend, okay, yeah. But what if your uncle or your kind of like a family relatives are asking money? It felt weird, right? Yeah, because obviously it's this thing, like basically it's this thing na ki who will gonna ask money? Obviously is this thing I am actually expecting that ki the people who are at my same age, like my friend or maybe my cousin maybe, or maybe less age, like a person who has a kind of like a little less age than mine, then that particular person kind of like ask me money. I would not expecting that ki a kind of like a something my relatives, a mama would be kind of like a somebody asking money, okay, yeah. And I was like, okay, what is that money for? Okay, yeah. So basically this thing that ki in mama's home, his electric line cut off. Why? Because he didn't really paid the bill and he was asking money for that bill. That ki, do you have any kind of like a money? If you have money, we would kind of like a pay the bill and electricity will come back and things like that. And I was like shocked, literally shocked. Why shocked? Is because this is a very big thing, na? Like basically your electricity is actually cut is because you haven't really paid the electric bill. That is a, like, dude, that's a, like a, electricity is a very essential thing. Okay, yeah, all the appliances and everything is actually run on electricity, and so it's just, it felt like that, dude, that's a, like, like, okay. And another thing is that na ki, okay, like, if my mama was kind of like a really good person, I would kind of like give them help. Obviously, how much money does it really require to kind of like pay the electricity bill? 1,000 rupees? Yeah, I could do that thing. It's not like that. But my mama is a very different person. Like a very, like what he's na, he's a very fucked up person. I don't know how I supposed to explain this thing. I don't really have any kind of like a respect. I know he's a very family relative. I really don't have any respect for him. Even in the future I might have, but today I don't. Or maybe like in the present moment I don't have any respect for him. Why? Because of that, he drinks alcohol a lot, and he do lot of very shit stuff, dude. My mama is almost age of almost like a maybe 40 45 probably, almost like a late 50. And he is kind of like doing alcohol, drinking all the time, like spending all money on alcohol. It's just like that na ki, I was like, dude. And one of the worst thing that na ki, if something happened wrong with him, it's okay, fine, good. But dude, like, basically is this thing that ki my mama has a son, my mama has a daughter, those are my cousin, by the way. Okay, what kind of like a simply effect on those children? Like, basically this is it's a very family relatives na. Okay, yeah, like I like basically this thing, my cousin, my mama's son is kind of like a live here in a city. Okay, yeah, in a hostel. Okay, so he's good. Okay, yeah, but my mama's daughter, she lives with him, and sometime my mama hit his daughter. Why? Because I don't know, he drink alcohol and he do lot of shit stuff, and he kind of like hit so many people. Like, I don't know, yaar. Like a typical kind of like a some domestic violation. Yeah, that is that. And even if I try to solve this thing, I can't. And this is one of the biggest problem is this thing na ki you cannot able to kind of like fix the person who is actually addicted. You can't, literally you can't. My mama is one of that particular person. He just, like, I don't really expect anything good actually happen. Like, if I'm thinking that na, if he die, then it's kind of like a good. But because of whatever he kind of like doing this alcohol and things, it affect on his child, his son, his daughter. And those are my cousin, by the way, and I feel really wrong. I feel that ki, dude, just like that na, I feel really, really wrong. I feel that ki, like, what about their future? They are just a kid. My mama's son is in 12th standard. Okay, yeah. My mama's daughter is probably 7th or maybe 8th standard probably. Okay. And I was kind of like thinking about that. Ki, what are they been through? Like, what kind of like challenges that those children are actually facing? Like, basically, my childhood is somewhat something good because my father never really drink that much. Maybe he drink it, but he never really drink that much. And he was kind of like a really, like, he never really kind of like, my father didn't really kind of like simply try to do any kind of like violence, nothing like at all. It's not really that ki my father have really good relation. No, my parents are actually fight all the time, but my father always be in control. But nah, it's just like that now. When I'm trying to tell you this mama story, I feel like a like like basically this thing na, it felt like a really wrong. So did I send money? No, I did not send him money. My mother told me that ki do not give him any kind of like a help and things like that. Why? No, it's not because of that we are evil or things like that. No, is that ki mama, if I send money, he will not spend that money on, like he will not pay that money for bill and electricity bill. No, he will kind of like somebody take this money and drink another alcohol. Yeah, literally just like that. Now whatever the money that he gets, he just drink alcohol. He just not gonna do consider anything at all. Like basically he just forget that he has a family, he has to take care of them, he have to be kind of like things and that. Nothing really at all. He is just addict. And I don't know how do I supposed to kind of like fix them. But I think that na ki probably is this thing I cannot. Like if I want to, like basically I don't know how do I supposed to explain. There is a one scenario that I wanted to talk about. That ki, let's just say my cousin, means like that my mama's daughter and my mama's son is kind of like a somebody getting that experience of his father is kind of like a drinking alcohol all the time, he's hitting his wife, his daughter all the time and things and that. There is a very wrong impression create regarding about the father. Okay, yeah, on his mind, on their children's mind. Another thing is that ki because of this thing, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, because of this stuff, they understand, like basically I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this thing. It's a kind of like a thing that na ki when you are going through very rough situation or rough time, you understand that ki we have to get out. Like basically is this thing na ki if I don't really have any money for food and things like that, then I would gonna do anything for earning money. It kind of like somebody giving them force that you know I have to be earn money something. Okay, yeah. And because of this hard time, kind of like a push people to do something better. Like there is a kind of like a phrase. Okay, yeah. Hard time creates strong people. Strong people create good time. Good time create weak man. Weak man create hard world or hard consequences. It's a kind of like a things. I kind of like heard this phrase somewhere. Okay, yeah. But this is what it is. Like when you are in hard time, okay, yeah. A weak man create hard time. When you are in hard time, that hard time will kind of like create a strong man. Okay, yeah. And this is what it is. Like basically when you are going through hard situation, you kind of like become strong. Okay, yeah. And that is nature's law, by the way. So if such thing happened, my cousin, means my mama's daughter and my mama's son, they will kind of like assembly, they will become strong because their time is very hard. I'm not really sure that they are kind of like getting any kind of like a food for things. They are getting food probably, but still it's really not right. Okay, now this is one thing. Okay, now let's talk about me. Okay, I am 32. I am living with my parents. I'm not earning any money. Okay, yeah. Like probably mama's situation is a kind of like a somewhat something worse. Okay, but what about my situation? I am also kind of like somewhat something worse. Like I'm 32. I am still living with my parents and still not earning any money. I am considering myself as a kind of like somebody very unworthy, right? Or like a like nothing. So sometimes I realize that, is that my future? Like, it's not my future. Like, I believe in myself, I do have my thought process, I do know how mature I am, I do know it's not my future. Okay, yeah, because I see in my future, I know what I could able to be do. It's not. Okay, yeah, but still is this thing, this is my thought process na. What if my mother thinks like that? Like, my mother kind of like a telling me that ki the mamas, whatever actually happened with your mama is your future, because you are not doing anything, you are 32, you are still living with us, not earning any money. You might not drink today, but probably is this thing that ki you might become worse. And sometimes I realize that ki, like, my mother kind of like a thinking about this thing, that is to, like, I don't know, dude. Like, basically is this thing na ki I get like one thing is this thing, the ambition, the goal, the things that I wanted to achieve. Obviously, my parents didn't really consider or didn't really support or didn't really believe anything at all that if I could able to be achieve and things and that and that. Okay, that is I already knew it. Okay, another thing is that ki basically is this thing, I am surrounded with a lot of failure people, and basically is this thing na, they kind of like assembly, my mother, my parents always telling me that ki doing this creative business or growing this kind of like a business and things and that, it does not work. Okay, like today in this artifact episode, I will gonna mention a lot of people name. Okay, because of them, I'm kind of like a, like, basically is this thing na ki, let me tell you one thing. Okay, it's not really that ki I don't really have skills, it's not really that ki I cannot able to be achieve and things like that. It's able to be that na ki, it's like that, let's just imagine a kind of like a thing. Okay, yeah, so you are living in kind of like a some particular society where every childrens are want to become a doctor. Okay, yeah, and let's just say a class of student, everyone wants to become a doctor. Okay, yeah, now basically everyone fail. So what other people should supposed to be expect from you? Obviously you would supposed to be failed too. Why? Because of everyone fails. So this is what it is, like basically this is in na, we are always kind of like a somebody attaching opinion regarding about surrounding situation. Like, if somebody fail, then you might gonna fail too. And this is what it is, like I am also surrounded by those peoples too. I will gonna, should I should I mention the name? Well, those are very relative people, but okay, I just wanted to mention the name because of them, I kind of like a somebody is this thing that I kind of like basically because of them, I kind of like a somebody get lot of resistance. Because of them, my parents didn't really believe. First is that ki my मोठे वडील son, big son, okay, I will not gonna mention their name. Okay, he tried to do a business, didn't really work out. Then what he was doing, I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah, he was far much older than me, and basically is this thing na ki basically is this thing that ki they just they are not doing anything. I don't know what they are kind of like doing, but like I don't know, they are not, I don't know what they are doing. Okay, yeah, so basically is this thing, consider them as a kind of like a simply failure in his life probably. If like it's a very kind of like a simply very wrong to say this thing, but still okay, yeah, because of them I kind of like a scold a lot. I kind of like a somebody, like, people didn't really believe me in things and that. Okay, so my मोठे वडील means my father's big brother has a son. Okay, yeah, he's also considered my brother too. Okay, yeah, he fail in his achieving target or things like that. Okay, yeah, so one, another thing is that ki another person, okay, my sister, my cousin sister, okay, yeah, cousin sister means my mother's sister, okay, she has a daughter, okay, yeah, and she started doing a business, okay, a cafe business. She try that business fail, okay, yeah. She's kind of like a doing good, by the way. It's not really that case. She's not kind of like a doing. She's doing really good. Okay, yeah. She's kind of like a doing a job. But when the cafe fail and all the kind of like a somebody money that she has to be pay and things and that, my sister kind of like a try multiples of jobs and things, and she kind of like a paid that money and things like that. But still failure. Okay. Then basically, mama. Okay, he's a kind of like a addict, alcohol and things and that. Okay, and there are bunch of kind of like relatives. They wanted to do something, they didn't really achieve. So basically, is this thing na ki my parents kind of like a, sorry about I mention your name. Okay, yeah, it's not really intentionally, but I want to. Yeah, because of you, I kind of like somebody get scolded, because of I kind of like a get very, very disbelief from my parents. Because of you, might be they are not kind of like a somebody believe in me, believe in my goals and things that I wanted to achieve. Okay, yeah. But because of your failure, I didn't really stop them. Because of your failure, it affected me a lot. Because I also wanted to establish something by myself. I don't want to do a job and things like that. But because of your failure, I also hesitate a lot that should I supposed to be execute or not. I never really mentioned your name in Artifact, but still is this thing that na ki I always been hesitant, but I realized that ki nahi, I should supposed to be do it. I am believing myself. I have to do it. I have to do it. But this is just my thought process, na. My parents' thought process changed because of your failure. So basically, is this thing, your failure is kind of like somebody is this thing that ki I am getting disbelief from my father. I can't kind of like sit when my father is at living room. I can't sit beside him. I can't even talk. I just kind of like maybe sit somewhere else, or maybe I don't know. I cannot look at him on his eyes. I feel like failure on his eyes. I believe in myself that I could achieve my success and things and that, because I am so strong and things and that. But because of you fail, I am get lot of things. Okay, when I see my tears in my mother eyes, I cannot tell you how wrong it feels. But I can't say anything because I just don't want to say, because I'm not in the position to kind of like tell her anything. I love my mother. I love my parents. But because of you, I am like fucking failure. But I am not. I'm not failure. I'm not fucking like you. I'm not gonna drop like you. You people not really hurt me in so many levels, and I don't really have any courage to say this thing. I'm saying this thing in this Artifact episode probably, but yeah, you are really, really, and I think that Naki, it's not a kind of like a thing is your fault. Definitely not. It's a kind of like a thing that Naki, it's a nature work like that way, dude. I don't know how I'm supposed to explain. I do understand you might have a kind of like some sort of reason for failure and things like that, probably. And that is true. That is kind of like a things. Okay, I also understand. I shouldn't supposed to blame you regarding about everything, but probably is this thing na ki like we are living in community. If one person fail, it that failure replicate to the society, and that society will not gonna kind of like a try to do this thing. Like if the one person is kind of like somebody became failure or became Bollywood actor, then in that home no one wants to become Bollywood actor. Why? Because this particular person fail. Even if the sibling wants to become actor, he has that much courage, he has to be kind of like a feels, but that particular person never really thinks like that, because he kind of like experienced that his older brother already get kind of like some failure experience. And that is what like basically this thing, when one person fail now, it fail with like it fail lot of kind of like a thoughts, and it lot of like it fail with lot of society, or maybe emotions fails, or maybe believe fail. Yeah, I probably this would be really good word. Believe is kind of like a fail. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, I realize that na ki first of all is that ki I one thing is that ki I shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a blame on somebody or things and that and that. I think that na ki because of this resistance, it make me strong. As I mentioned, the hard time makes us strong people. And I think that na you people kind of like became failure, make very hard time. And that hard time make me very strong. Make me very like very strong. I'm not brittle. I'm not this. Like I'm not shattered like a glass and things like that. I'm just very strong. But sometimes I get hurt too. Sometimes like I don't know. It's just like that na ki one of the really important person in my life is my parents. They did lot of stuff. Like I don't know how I supposed to explain this thing. Is this thing that na ki when my mother is actually cried because of me, I can't tell you how fuck that I feel. I literally can't. I wanted to say, but I can't say, because she might not understand. Because yeah, and because people believe in evidence, not believe in belief. Fuck it, yeah, dude. It is like that's why I didn't really talk about personal stuff. Now these are personal stuff. Now make me like a really vulnerable. I don't want to talk. But sometimes na some artifact should supposed to be meant to express your things, and that it's not meant to be just kind of like a like put something in your head and just not to talk about that stuff. If you have something, just express it. It's not. Yeah, whatever. Like okay, should we ask question? No, it's been almost like a 20 minute. Okay, yeah. Like I have a lot of questions to ask. Okay, yeah, but still it's been almost like a 28 minute. Okay, yeah. Tomorrow I will gonna ask. Okay, yeah. All right. So this is it, and thank you.